What's going on, guys? Welcome in the Minnesota Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Anthony Barr, you are a Minnesota Viking yet again. The Vikings decided to go sign Anthony Barr, who is still an NFL free agent, after Jordan Hicks did get hurt versus the New Orleans Saints yesterday. So we'll touch on the Jordan Hicks injury at the back half of today's show. We're going to start it off, though, by talking about Anthony Barr. He is back with the purple and gold in a great move by Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. Let's break it down. It was Adam Schefter who tweeted it out at first. I'm not going to lie, guys. This came to a complete shock to me. Like, this was not on my bingo card of waking up this morning that we're going to be talking about Anthony Barr back with the Vikings. Man, I absolutely love the move. But Schefter broke it down. He said, with Jordan Hicks hurt, the Vikings are planning to re-sign four-time Pro Bowl linebacker Anthony Barr. Barr obviously spent 8 seasons in Minnesota after he was a first-round pick in 2014 out of UCLA. And, man, I mean, just kind of nostalgia right here, but Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks, like, they were some of my favorite defensive players to watch that have been a part of the Vikings team. The little 1-2 punch they had, they were absolutely fantastic. But Anthony Barr, kind of breaking down his stats over the last couple of seasons here, like, when he did leave Minnesota and went to Dallas, he was not the same guy. Like, he obviously lost a step. He is getting up there in age. I mean, we know once these guys start hitting double-digit seasons in the NFL, like, they are just going to naturally lose a step. And obviously, Barr did deal with some injuries. But when he was in Minnesota, he was great. Just that hybrid, kind of Swiss Army knife type of linebacker. And kind of gets to the point of, listen, he is not the same guy. Like, we can all kind of agree on that. But, like, it is still a nice pickup, and I really can't wait to see how a guy like Brian Flores is going to use him. So, overall, Anthony Barr, not the same guy that he was back when he was making plays for the Vikings and the way that Zimmer used to use him. I mean, remember when it was Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks in those double-A gaps, and you never knew who was coming during those plays. But not the same guy that he was back then. Still a nice pickup, and we'll kind of dive into how Brian Flores will use him here in a second. But I got to ask you guys, what is your one-word reaction to the Vikings signing Anthony Barr? I'm going to go shocked. That would be my one word, shocked. Like, I really did not see this come in. But let me know, what is your one-word reaction to Kwesi signing Anthony Barr and bringing him back in the purple and gold? And all I got to say right now is the one guy I thought about right when the Vikings signed him was Brian Flores. Brian Flores is somewhere sitting smiling right now, already probably getting in the lab trying to draw up different plays to use Barr. Because what have we talked about with Barr? He is a versatile player. I always thought when he was back in Minnesota, I wished Mike Zimmer would have used him off the edge a little more, blitz him a little more, because he was 6'5", 245 pounds, had a crazy good 40-yard dash. So Brian Flores, we know the Vikings' MO. I mean, the Vikings are blitzing more than any other team in the National Football League, and probably by, I think the last stat I saw was by at least 15%. So just imagining Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith, Ivan Pace, all those guys on the line of scrimmage, and you're the quarterback, and you're looking around, and you're like, I don't know who is necessarily coming. I don't know. I feel like Brian Flores is going to have a hell of a day with these guys. But a big reason why the Vikings did sign Barr was because of Jordan Hicks. And this was the breakdown on his injury yesterday, and it was pretty concerning. It said Vikings linebacker Jordan Hicks, this was coming from Kevin Seifert of ESPN, he said, developed a compartment syndrome yesterday after bruising his shin. Kevin O'Connell said that, and then he said he was taken from U.S. Bank to a local hospital and had a procedure and remains hospitalized. Kevin O'Connell said this, and he also said just out of precaution at this point. So a little concerning with Jordan Hicks, who was having a great year with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, I was talking about cutting him this offseason to save like $5.5 million, but Jordan Hicks, he's been fantastic. Like, he was really good. He was great at just stacking tackling numbers, kind of being that leader on a young Vikings defense. He absolutely turned the clock back to how he used to play when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. So Jordan Hicks stinks. Hopefully he'll be back after this Broncos game. But adding a guy like Barr, it would just add depth even when Jordan Hicks does come back. And listen, I think Anthony Barr and Ivan Pace, I think they are more than enough to get this done. Like, Anthony Barr, we've talked about it. He can be versatile. Obviously, he's not the same guy he was in coverage, which that may get a little ugly. Like, when you think about Ivan Pace and Anthony Barr, what is their one glaring negative between the both of them? They're not good coverage linebackers. But in terms of just being good tackling linebackers, find a hole, hit a hole type of guys, like, they are pretty damn good. And I mean, listen, Ivan Pace has had a pretty damn good season. Listen, PFF rates him out as a 74 overall, which is pretty damn good from that standpoint. He's got 37 tackles on the year, and like, listen, we heard the hype coming out of training camp and everything, like being a UDFA, like, hey, this guy may make the team. He actually may be very impactful. I mean, he was wearing the green dot against Seattle. So, like, yes, losing Jordan Hicks stinks. No doubt about that. He was having a great year. But with Ivan Pace stepping up, Brian Asamoah coming back, and now you add a guy like Barr, like, I really think Brian Flores can get really creative with this, which is this overall why I'm excited about this defense. I mean, since week 3, when the Vikings were 0-3, they're top 5 in almost every statistical category imaginable. They've been absolutely playing well, and that was with going against offenses like the Niners and the Chiefs in that stretch. So just giving Brian Flores another guy and also getting some depth, just kind of masking over this Jordan Hicks injury. Then when he does come back, I think the Vikings might go on a run, and we'll dive into that here in a second. But I do want to give a huge shout out to PrizePicks, today's sponsor of today's edition of Vikings Now. Guys, PrizePicks is one of the most fun apps that I use all throughout the day, and every game I watch, I am using them. And you guys might be asking, what is PrizePicks? Well, it's daily fantasy made easy. All you got to do is pick 2 or more players, choose more or less on some projected stat types, and you guys can start rolling in the dough today. How do you play? I mean, listen, it's pretty simple. All you do, you're going to go on the app, you're going to pick 2 or more players. They're going to give you a projected stat type. Choose more or less on those stat types, and you guys can start rolling in the cash. My favorite part, though, is if you are watching an incredibly boring game. And right now in the NFL, there's a lot of bad teams, a lot of bad quarterbacks. Use PrizePicks, adds a little more juice, adds a little more fun to the game. So make sure you guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link for that in the comment section and description of today's show. But overall, I do think this Vikings team is about to go on a run. And just adding a player like this just adds so much more extra juice to this unit. Like, we talked about it. Like the Vikings, what they have overcame so far this season with Jefferson missing 5 games, losing Kevin O'Connell, starting off 1-4, 0-3, all the turnovers and all this. The fact that you're 6-4 right now and you have a chance to make the playoffs, and they have a very good chance. Right now, I think it's around 74% for the Vikings to make the playoffs this year. And listen, their schedule's pretty damn easy coming up, guys. I mean, the next 3 games right now, I fully expect the Vikings to win all 3 of these matchups. Like the Broncos, playing a lot better as of late, no doubt about it. But still, I mean, they're going to be on a short week. They actually play tonight, Monday Night Football. Take the Vikings in that one. Bears at home on a Monday night. Give me the Vikes any day of the week. And then the Raiders. I mean, yes, the Raiders are 500. They got a new swag with their new head coach, but I'd probably take the Vikings in that one. Then even the Bengals, man. Even the Bengals, I'd probably give the Vikings a chance against those guys just with the magic that's around this football team right now. But overall, or to conclude, Vikings sign Anthony Barr. Jordan Hicks is hurt. That's why you guys hit that subscribe button. Any injury updates, any news, rumors, whatever it is, around this football team, we got you covered. Help us reach 19,000 subs. I would really appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you do already. And you guys can give me a follow on Twitter. @PatSieps is the Twitter handle. Put that link for you guys down in the comment section and the description of today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Vikings brought back Anthony Barr, and Jordan Hicks is week to week. News of the day. Thank you guys so much. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.